are back with another StarWarsUnlimited deck build, and not just any deck build, it's our first deck build since Legends of the Force has been released. We are kicking things off in this set with an absolute banger of a deck, and of course, that is my Kanan Jarrus deck. Kanan had to be one of the first decks I made because I pulled his showcase, and I'm so happy that I did, because this deck is actually really good. We look to harness the power of creatures and spectres, boosting them up and just swinging for absurd amount of damage. But before we jump into the leader, the base, and how the deck likes to play, if you enjoy StarWarsUnlimited content, make sure to like and subscribe, because there's going to be plenty of deck videos coming, gameplay videos are coming soon, and there's going to be more box openings in the future, and I really don't want you guys to miss out. And with that said, let's just jump on to this leader. For this Kanan deck, well, of course, our leader is Kanan Jarrus, one of the new leaders. What does he do? So he's got an action, you pay 1 and you exhaust him. Then you can give a shield token to a creature or spectre unit. That ability is actually really powerful, because about 90% of our deck we can actually give a shield to. And not just that, Kanan isn't the only card that we've got within our deck that's boosting up these spectres or creature units. So for example, our Sabine here, that's only a 2/3, we can activate Kanan and give her a shield token, so she's now to 2/3 of a shield, which is nice. But we also have Ezra out that gives, on attack, give an experience token to another spectre or creature. We can then give her an experience token, meaning they then got a 3/4 shielded Sabine unit. So thanks to Kanan, he just keeps everything alive. And what's really nice, there's no other rule, like it just has to be a spectre or creature. So if you want to, you can just keep shielding the same unit over and over and over. And I'm going to tell you when we go over the deck build, an absolute beautiful card to do that with. So Kanan's got a really strong ability, right? But his deploy turn is insane. So he deploys out on 6 resources. He is 3 attack, 6 health with shielded. You may be thinking, that's not very good. Why are you saying that's insane? Because of this. He reads, while you control another creature or spectre unit, this gets +2/+2. So if this is our board right now, we've got Sabine out, you play out your Kanan, boom, there's his shield. And, well, on top of that, boom, boom, there's his +2/+2. So this leader is now deploying as a 5 attack, 8 health, shielded unit. I don't think you realise how good that is until you play this deck. Like, decks just can't take him down. They struggle so much. I found when playing this deck, like the early-ish game, like we're alright, we're holding it, but then the mid-game when this guy deploys is insane. He deploys and just helps you run absolute riot. On top of that, we've also got a lot of events and other cards in this deck that synergize beautifully to help this leader just stay out and become such an issue, he will win you games on his own. For our base, we have gone red because, well, Sabine, one of the best spectre units, and there's some really nice creatures I want to play within this deck. And we've actually gone for Fortress Vader, the 28 health, because when a friendly force unit attacks, the force is with you. So you attack the force unit, you get a nice force token. The reason I have done this, because there's some very strong cards within this deck that need that force token, but I've only done a few, so we're not overly reliant on the force, so that allows us to run lots of things like the creatures and the spectre units. However, when we go over the deck, you're going to realise how powerful this can be for us. And you're going to be surprised how often we actually have this active, even though we don't run like tons and tons of force, because of things like our Ezra, our Kanan leader, it pretty much is always online. Now that we've gone over our leader on a base, let's crack on to these ground units. Kicking things off, these ground units is a 2 cost, you've already seen it, we want to run 3 of them, that's 3 Sabine Wrens. So this card is stupidly good anyway, but within this deck, it is perfect. So Sabine has 2 attack, 3 health, and reads, while there are at least 3 aspects among other friendly units, this unit can't be attacked. And also on attack, you may deal 1 damage to the defender or to a base. Essentially, she's a 3 attack, 3 health when she's attacking. She is perfect for things like your village protectors, because you do on attack 1 ping to hit the shield, and then her attack to go through to defeat it. She's just a really solid turn 1 play. And like I said earlier, she has got the Spectre trait, meaning our Kanan leader can shield her, and Ezra can come out, give an experience token to her, and she can quickly become a massive problem for the opposition. Our next unit is another 2 cost, and we want to run 3 of these again. That is 3 Loaf Wolves. I'm just going to say right now, this card within this deck, oh my word, it's not fair. So it's 3 attack, 3 health with Sentinel. I know, 3/3 with Sentinel. How insane. However, it can't attack. But it doesn't really bother us that much. Why, you may be asking? Because of this. It's got the creature tag. So do you know what that means? We can play it out turn 1, turn 2, activate Kanan, shielding our Sentinel Loaf Wolf. This is the card I was on about earlier, where you just want to keep shielding it over and over and over. Having this in your second turn, and then playing Ezra out the following turn to then boost it. Oh, I've got this Sentinel to like a 6/6, 7/7 shielded many times. It's so good. It's our next 2 cost, which is another creature, and that is Attuned Fryknock. This card is 4 attack with 1 health with Hidden, which is actually quite strong, so it means you can just play it down and it can't be attacked, meaning you can then instantly shield it with Kanan in like our second turn, or for like 3rd or 4th turn, maybe Ezra attacks, you can give an experience token to it. But the reason I really like it is because if you play this out in your turn 1, you've got the initiative, into the turn 2, it will pretty much one-shot whatever they have played out. Unless it's Gunji. That card is so good. But things like their Jedi Counselors or their Yaddles, we can just obliterate with this card. Or maybe, in your second turn, you want to keep it up. So you can activate Kanan and give it a shield, meaning you've got a 4 attack, 1 health shielded unit turn 2. Couple of times before, I've actually shielded it turn 2, and then Ezra's come out and just kept boosting it, boosting it, boosting it. And even with 1 experience token, it becomes a 5/2. And rounding up our 2 costing ground units as well, it's going to be no surprise to any of you because it's a blue hero force deck that has 3 Yaddles. This card is 2 attack, 4 health with Restore 1, which reads on attack, each other friendly Jedi unit gains Restore 1 for this phase. We have got Kanan, Ezra, Leader Kanan. We've got other ones later that I don't want to spoil just yet, so that ability comes up a lot. But the reason she's in here, and the reason she's in every single blue hero deck at the moment, is this here, the Force. She's a turn 1 play. It's ready up, attack, you can get your Force token, you can activate your Force throws, things like that. She is really, really nice. Of course, she's insanely strong. But she isn't like an absolute must-have in this deck. I just much rather play out like our Spectre or Creature units. So if you haven't got any Yaddles, don't stress. You can either play in like our Guardian of the Wheels, just so you can get that Force online turn 1. But like I said, most of the time I'm playing out Sabine or Loaf Wolf over this card anyway. Okay, moving on to our 3 cost ground units. We're going to kick things off with 3 Cassian Andors. You may be thinking, hang on, he's not a creature or a Spectre. Why is he in here? So this card has got one sole purpose within this deck, and that's this ability here, which is Smuggle, cost 5. If this card is a resource, you may play him out for Smuggle cost, place the top card of your deck, but when played using Smuggle, you can ready this unit. So he's in here solely for that extra bit of damage or to finish off a unit. The amount of times I've smuggled him out on my Kanan turn and used this like to defeat a Sentinel or defeat a big unit, and then just kept my Kanan fresh with a shield to hit for base. On top of that, he's actually got a really good stat line anyway, which is 3 attack, 5 health. That is so good for a turn 2. I don't think I've ever actually played him out of my hand. I've always smuggled him out. But yeah, he's in here mainly for that extra bit of damage you can bring out of nowhere, and because there is so much hand hate at the moment with Force Throws, Ahsokas, Spark of Rebellions, the list can go on. This card is insane. The smuggle mechanic right now is beautiful. If you're not using it, start using it. Trust me. Moving on to our next 3 costing ground unit is one of the best cards within this deck. I didn't realise how good this card would be until I used it, and oh my word, it blew me out of the water. And that is 3 Ezra Bridger. So he's 3 attack, 5 health, really solid stat line for a turn 2 card. But this is where he's insane. He's got Force, Jedi, Rebel and Spectre. Instantly, he's got synergy with this and 99% of the deck. But more importantly, on attack, you may give an experience token to another creature or Spectre unit. Ezra is one of the reasons this deck is so strong. The fact you can boost like 99% of your deck and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it is nuts. You find that once Ezra hits the board, they want to take him out as soon as possible, but that's where Kanan comes in, because then you can start shielding your Ezra, meaning they want to hit into him, but he's getting shielded and then boosting everything else. I love bringing him out in my turn 2, because then turn 3 he can attack, get you the Force, and give an experience token to your turn 1 play. Or another thing I really do is I bring out my Kanan unit on 4 resources, then attack with Ezra and instantly give an experience token, so then it becomes a 5/6. Whew. But yeah, Ezra's insane, and what I really like doing with him is that if he's still on the board when you deploy your Kanan, you can actually start boosting your Kanan even more. So Kanan gets a +2/+2 because of Ezra, because he's a Spectre, and then you get a +1/+1 on top of that Kanan would just literally go nuts. Moving on to our 4 costing ground units is 3 Chirrut and Waste. This is the first card within this deck that looks to take the advantage of us generating the Force. Chirrut is a 3 attack 5 health with Sentinel, but this is why he's so good. When this unit is attacked, before damage is dealt, you may use the Force. If you do, lose your token, and the attacker gets -2 for this attack. So Chirrut would just absorb like 2 or 3 attacks and just keep going and going and going. And on top of all of that, he's also a Force card, so he can generate the Force himself, and you can activate your Force cards with him. And honestly, this card is insane. I personally think any blue Force deck, this is a must within there. Most of the time, I'm looking to play out our other 4 cost unit more, but if you're playing against the aggression decks or you need to slow them up, this card is beyond perfect. Just be aware, he's one of the cards within this deck we can't activate Kanan with, and we also can't activate Ezra with to boost him. Moving on to our next 4 cost ground unit is another insane card within this deck. That is 3 Kanan Jarrus. So Kanan is 4 attack, 5 health with the Force, Jedi, Rebel and Spectre attacks, and on top of that, he's got on attack, you may discard 1 card from the defending player's deck for each friendly Spectre unit, including himself by the way. Heal 1 damage from your base for each different aspect among the discarded cards. Normally him just attacking getting the 1 discard was really strong anyway. Most of this deck is Spectre, so typically you're getting like 2 to 3 discards from their deck, almost every single attack. The 2 main times I look to play out this Kanan is either on my 4 resource turn, when I've got an Ezra already out, so then Ezra will attack and then give him the experience token, or is on my 5 resource turn, I deploy this Kanan out, then activate Kanan's ability to give him a shield. We don't actually run any 5 cost ground units within this deck, and that's because we want to activate the Kanan leader as much as we can, and because it's costing 1, we're typically like 1 down. So on our 5 resources, I typically want to play out maybe our Chirrut or our Kanan, then activate this on top of it, giving a shield to the Kanan, or maybe an Ezra, or one of our creature units. Moving on to our 6 costing ground units is another stupidly strong card, and that is 3 Mace Windu. This card is one of the main reasons we want to run the Force. This, Chirrut, and 1 other card we'll go over later. That's because when played, you may use the Force, so take away your token, and do 4 damage to a unit. Any unit you want. Space, ground, even your own if you really want to. It's just so good. It's like a mini wrecker, but you don't lose a resource. I love this card. It does so much work for you. On top of that, he's also got 6 attack, 6 health, and overwhelm. I promise you, this Mace Windu is just... I can't even begin to explain how good it is. The main times I use this card is, well, either on 6 resource to just nuke something off the board, but 99% of the time it actually comes out of my 7 resources. Because by that time, my Kanan leader's out, and they've normally hit something into that Kanan to defeat the shield, so then their leader or a big unit's got a load of damage on, then I just go Mace Windu, take the Force, destroy whatever they've hit into my Kanan with. What I love about Mace Windu as well is for lots of you out there who maybe can't afford to buy as many cards, it's only an uncommon. For a card this strong to be an uncommon is beautiful, because it means everybody has access to it. Moving on to our 7 costing ground units is 3 Luke Skywalkers. We all know how good Luke is, you don't need me to keep going over it, so 6 attack, 7 health with Restore 3, and when played, give enemy unit -3/-3 for this phase. If friendly unit is defeated, -6/-6 instead. So it just comes out and just nukes something off the board. And if they don't defeat it, you're just going to heal absurd amount of value. This is really good following on from Mace Windu, because Mace Windu may do 4 damage into something that's really strong, we can't get rid of it, then you follow up with Luke and just get it off the board. I know Luke is expensive and he's quite difficult to get in some parts of the world, so I'm going to do a couple of suggestions now. Maybe you want to run Chewbacca's Pike's Bane instead, which is 8 cost, got a nice bit of removal. Maybe you want to run the... Is it Illuminara, from Twilight Republic, 7 cost Jedi? That's another good alternative for him. Or, if you've got some, the Mace Windu from set 1, the 7 cost Ambush. That is really good within this deck. And it was so good I was tempted to put it in, but Luke's just better. But if you've got any of those Mace Windus, definitely put them in. And rounding up our ground units is a 9 cost. That's 2 Great Dragons. So the Great Dragon is one of the main reasons I wanted to run red with Kanan, because it's a creature, so you can actually shield the Great Dragon or give experience tokens to it if you really want. So it's a 10 attack, 10 health with Overwhelm, already insane, but it reads, when an opponent plays a card, you may deal damage equal to the opponent's cost to their base or ground unit they control. I think you all know by now how insanely strong the Great Dragon is. It's such a good finisher bot for you. To be honest, we typically want to win the game by then, but if the games drag on and then you want to play a dragon, I'm so sorry, then this card is absolutely perfect. Moving on to our space units, which we don't actually run much of, because we want to activate Kanan as much as we want with the Spectre and the creature thing, and with the Force. On top of that, we don't run loads, but what we run is actually really important. So kicking things off is a free cost that is free Concord Dawn Interceptors. So it's a 1 attack, 4 health with Sentinel, and this unit gets +2 while defending. So essentially it's a free 4 when it's getting attacked. Because we don't run loads of space, this is really important to slow up and start trading into a lot of their space units basically. That's what it's in here for, and that's what it does. Our next space unit is an insanely strong space unit within this deck. That is free Sabine's Masterpiece. I can't even begin to tell you how good this card is within here. So this card is free attack, free health, and we can actually shield it with Kanan, or maybe you can give an experience token to it with Ezra, which is insanely good. And it reads, on attack, if you control a blue unit, heal 2 damage from a base. Green unit, give an experience token to a unit. Red, deal 1 damage to unit or base. Or a yellow unit, exhaust already a resource. So the ones we're always looking to get off of this, normally the healing, 9 times out of 10 you're getting off, and sometimes the red for the damage. But this card quickly, and I mean quickly, becomes such a thorn for the opposition. 1 shield onto it, 1 experience token, you've got a 4/4 shielded space unit, which is healing or pinging damage. It's so good. And rounding up our space units is a 6 cost, and that is 1, the Ghost. So it's a 5/5 and shielded, so it comes out of a shield, and it's also a Spectre unit, so you can activate Kanan and give it another shield, and you can boost it with Ezra. But more importantly, when played and on attack, you may give a shield token to another Spectre unit. So the reason we only run 1 of these is because it is alright, but it's not great. But it does every now and then have some insanely strong plays for us. I think like 2, maybe 3 times I've actually played this out on the same turn I've played out my Kanan leader, and they've normally rammed into Kanan to pop a shield to then try and one-shot it, but then the Ghost has come out and just re-shielded him back up. I think I may want to experiment with 2 the Ghosts, or maybe the other Ghosts, which is legendary, but I haven't pulled any of them. But I think I prefer this one over that, to be honest. I know we don't run loads of space, but to be honest, we kind of deal with it because we run a lot of removal in this deck, so our removal is kind of targeted for their space units. Between that and the Concord Dawn and shielding our Sabine's Masterpiece, we tend to be alright in space. Moving on to our events and upgrades is a 1 cost. I think you can all guess what it's going to be because it's a red Force deck that is free Force Throws. Oh, this card is just so good. It's the talk of the town at the moment. Probably going to get banned, but until then, use it and enjoy it. So choose a player. That player discards a card from their hand. Then, if you control a Force unit, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the cost of that discarded card. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to pick them, they'll discard a card, and then you're probably going to have a Force unit out, pick one of their units, do damage to it. There's a big however though within this deck. We run things like the Crate Dragon, which is a 9 cost. So you can actually discard your own Crate Dragon, which I've done a couple of times, and then do 9 damage to something out there. I have done that to defeat Avengers, I've done it to defeat Snokes, and I've done it to defeat multiple leaders. It's so strong. Talking of Force units, is our next free cost in one, and that is 2 Jedi Lightsaber. So it's an upgrade that gives a unit +3 attack, +3 health, attached to a non-vehicle unit. If attached unit is a Force unit, which it probably will be, it gains on attack, gives defender -2/-2 for this phase. It's mainly in here to just boost something to insane value. Things I typically give it to, put it onto our Kanan when he deploys. If you have a Spectre out, he gets +2/+2, so he's a 5/8. Put this on top of it, he becomes a 8/11 shielded unit. Like, not just any unit, a leader unit. An 8/11 shielded unit that can just win you games on his own. Or maybe you've played out Ezra, your Kanan, you've shielded him with the Kanan ability, give it Jedi Lightsaber. Then you're going to have like a 6/8 or maybe a 7/8. Then you give experience. So it's just, yeah, this card is perfect for this deck. Moving on to our 4 cost events and upgrades. And well, before I say it, we do actually run a bit of removal in here, like I just said, to target their space or maybe the big units. And well, we'll start it off with 1 Rival's Fall. Defeat a non-leader unit with 5 or more power. We did run multiple of these, but there's a certain new card that's come out that's just a better version, to be honest, and we'll get to it in a minute. Our next 4 cost is The Force is With Me. Such a good card, especially because to get the most out of this, you need a force unit, and most of our deck is. So choose a friendly unit and give it 2 experience tokens to it. If you control a force unit, also give a shield token to that chosen unit. You then can attack with that chosen unit. The amount of times I've had my Ezra out turn 2 and then played this turn 3, boost it to a 5/7, hit their base, boosted up my turn 1 again, it's just... it's ridiculous. Or yet again, maybe they're targeting your Kanan leader and he deploys. Just do the forces with me. It becomes a 7/10 with double shields. Like, you're not beating that. And rounding up our main deck is another 4 cost and one of the best cards they've added with the set. Another reason we run the 4 space, and that is 3 Shatter Points. So this card, choose one. Defeat a non-leader unit with 3 or less remaining HP. You know, already fairly decent. But then, you can use the Force. If you do, defeat a non-leader unit. So it's like a Rivals Fall, a Takedown, something like that. But just on anything, except for leaders. It's so good. Especially because we pretty much always have the Force active. I was running multiple Felder Dragon originally, but I just thought, just put Shatterpoint in. My Force is always there, and it's just better. That is it for the main deck. Let's crack on to this side deck. Kicking things off with the side deck is a 1-of and has an 8 cost Bendu. So 10 attack, 10 health, force and creature, and on attack deal 3 damage to each other unit. He's mainly in here because he's got, you know, if you watch Rebels, him and Kanan, you know, they've got the bond. They're bros. I had to put it in here, and that's literally why it's in there. And well, to be honest, this deck can struggle against the other decks that want to get to late game, so there's no harm bringing them in there. Talking about struggling late game is a 3rd Great Dragon. This is purely in here for those decks that do drag on for a while. I keep dragon. I'm just a comedic genius, aren't I? But it's mainly in here for those late games that do drag and you want to bring it out. Same reason for our next one, which is another 8 costs, and that's 2 redemptions. The game is going on. There's a lot of damage in your base. Play this out. So it's a 6/9 Sentinel that reads, when played, heal up to 8 total damage from any number of units and or bases. Deal that much damage to this unit. So 99% of the time, you're going to heal 8 from your base, hit this for 8, and boom, you're back in the game with a load of health. Our next side deck option is 3 Confiscates. This card has always been really good, but I think right now it's even better because everyone is running General's Blade and Shields. So it's a 1 cost, defeat and upgrade, simple as that. Maybe turn 1 they've played out a Yaddle, turn 2 they've gone General's Blade, you just pay 1, Confiscate, defeat that, 2 left, play, I don't know, maybe a Loaf Wolf or something like that. Happy days. And our remaining 3 side deck options are bits of removals. Maybe if you are playing those decks who want to get to Avengers, the Snokes, the Vaders, stuff like that, and you need to deal with it, chuck in another Felder Dragon to fit a unit of 5 or more power. See you later. And or maybe you're playing a Sabine, and even though we're quite good against Sabine, bring in 2 takedowns. The reason takedown's insane is because defeat a unit of 5 less remaining HP, so if they deploy their Sabine leader on 4 resources, this can just get rid of it, no problems asked. That is the main deck and side deck done. Here is the deck list for those who want it. For final thoughts and matchups, I'm really happy with how this deck turned out. I still feel like there's a bit of tuning I could do to it, but it's performed a lot better than I thought it would. I can't begin to stress enough how powerful this Kanan flip turn is. Bringing them out as a 5/8 shielded is just so good for us, especially because you can give him Jedi Lightsaber, boost him with Ezra, things like that. It's just absurd. For matchups, this deck is basically a strong mid-range deck. So it's quite good against the aggression. We tend to swamp all over it, we tend to stop it, hit hard, and then we just blitz them out the water on the 6 or 7 resources. It can struggle against the hard control. I have beaten hard control many times. However, if we don't get the right cards and they get Avengers, Snokes and things like that down, we can struggle a bit. But due to things like the Cassians, we can actually go quite fast. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this deck is done. I definitely think I can improve it, so let me know in the comments what you think about it and any changes you may make to it. And I'm really excited for what this deck's going to do going forward. Once even more Spectre units come out, once more creatures come out, it's just going to be so exciting. What changes would you make? Let me know. And what other decks should I build going forward? I've got loads of ideas. I've already got like 3 or 4 decks built, ready to record, but I still want to do what you guys suggest. Don't forget, the gameplay videos are coming soon, and I mean it this time. I'm moving into my house in like 2 weeks' time, and then give me a week and I'll set it up and good to go. So stick around for them. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy StarWarsUnlimited content. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one.